all doing well. So in today's video, I've finally done it, my classic night out makeup routine. I normally wear makeup like this on a night out, or I wore it like this when I went to meet the Jonas Brothers. I will do my first eye first, just quick, and then slow it down, zoom it in, and show you how I do it in detail. So if you want to see how I did this look, then please keep on watching. So I've just zoomed in a little bit. I'm going to prime my eyes. So I use the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, but I've just realised that I've still got some testers from Urban Decay, so I'm literally just going to use the same thing but from the tester. I'm going to use my finger just to press it in. That's probably way too much, but anyway, whatever. Just to make the eyeshadow last longer and also protect your skin from the staining from the eyeshadow. I mean, with these colours it doesn't really stain, but it's always good to just have it on. We're going to start off with our fluffy blending brush, and we're going to go into this shade here. Dip it in just a little bit, tap it off if you want. It's always better to build it up instead of just going straight in. And we're going to go in with light movements and just swirling round around the crease. But we'll go in from like here, like just under the brow bone, and focusing mostly on this area here, but we're going to bring it through across here as well. What I would say is don't ever put new eyeshadow on this section first, because you want this bit to just be blended. Once that's blended, we're then going to go in with just a darker brown, this one here, and we're going to use a slightly smaller blending brush. I do like this brush. It's one that I just bought from Amazon in a set. They were very cheap, but it's just the perfect size for what I'm about to do, and it's just a little bit more denser than the other one, so it can be a bit more precise. Dip in, and then we're going to go here and kind of just like tap it at first, just on this outer corner, and then we're just going to start circular motions into this outer corner, not going as far as we did on the first colour. You're going to kind of bring it up and kind of press it into your eye socket. Like, if you want it more dramatic, then keep going with all these colours, but if you don't want it dramatic, then feel free to just stop at any point in this look and just go on to the section where I'm going to do the shimmer. Then we are going to dip into the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. So you're just going to use the same brush and go into Good as Gone, which is this shade here. The same thing, but obviously just not going as further out as the previous colour. Just kind of start bringing up these colours further up in this section here. So it might look like I'm really pressing in my eyeball, but I am, but it doesn't hurt. It's always a good way of kind of knowing what shape your eye is. Don't do it too hard, obviously. And always kind of throughout, I'll always go back in with the other colours and just keep blending out until I'm kind of happy with it. So what you don't want is any sort of line where there's a new shade. So you want them all to just transition into each other. But you can actually just build up with the same colours and it will just naturally get darker. So we're going to go in with the Punk shade here. And also, just a tip for you, I'd always kind of stick to matte shades when you're doing this blend here. Using shimmer shades it's quite difficult to blend them, and it just doesn't give that same smoky effect. Slightly smaller and slightly denser. Pin just a little bit and just go even more precisely on the outer corner. My final lash shade is actually using some black. Now, obviously all these palettes do have blacks in, but my favourite black that I think is the most pigmented is from the James Charles palette that we've seen quite a lot recently. What's its name? Spooky. We're going to use a tiny brush. It's still kind of fluffy, but it's just great for precision work, but still you can do a bit of a blend with it. dip in just a tiny bit, and we're kind of going to use this as an eyeliner. The eyeshadow acts as an eyeliner, but it's just a little bit more smoky and less harsh. When I met the Jonas Brothers, I did not want to risk it with eyeliner because sometimes it can look great and both of them are the exact same, but as we all know, no matter how hard you try, it's just so difficult to get it perfect. Dab it onto this outer corner here, kind of going into a bit of a flick, like so, and you can kind of smudge it out a little bit if you want, and then we're just going to drag it across. So that's kind of it in terms of the outer portion of the eye. Go in with the shade Weekender, which is this one here. So it's like a light nude, and then we're just gonna go across the crease using that shade, slowly blending the last bits on the brush into your colours. I'm going to use a flatter, more like stiff brush to then go in with the shimmery shades here, which is Stranded, which is a gorgeous gold. Just tap it where you want it to be. The last thing that we're going to do is use the collection Glam crystals that we used in the last video, and we're going to use the gold ones this time all over where we've just put that last shimmer shade. Into the crease, quickly go over this middle section here so that it's all blended together. And then I also like to go back in with the first shade and just bring that brown down here. I hardly dipped it then, just to kind of make it all look complete and make the cut look stronger. Tiny bit, you do not need much. I use this one all the time, that's why it's so dinted. And we're just going to use that in the inner corner here just to make it pop. Same up in the brow bone. Then I'm going to go in with my eyeliner, which I used in my day makeup look, just to make my top eyelashes look a little bit thicker. Eyeliner onto this waterline thingy, and then flick it out into the flick that we did before with the eyeshadow. So we're going to return to the under eye later, but now I'm going to go onto my face. So in the day makeup look, I literally just kind of used a BB cream and concealers, but when I go on a night out, I do go a little bit more out and I use foundation. So we are going to start off with my favourite primer. It is this Maybelline Instant Pore Eraser. Tiny bit on my hand, and just kind of focusing on the pore areas and this T-zone. This is my favourite foundation, Revlon Colorstay foundation in the shade 220, and it does have different varieties depending on your skin type. So I get the combination / oily because most of the time I do have quite oily skin, but I do get eczema as well, so that is why it's combination. I literally just dab it on to my finger like this, and we use my Real Techniques blending brush. So I think the misconception about foundation is that it's supposed to cover up all of your blemishes. Foundation is literally just to make your skin all one colour, and then your concealer is the thing that covers up the dark circles and the blemishes. So you don't need to apply loads of foundation, because that's when you're going to get this cakey effect. Remember to kind of blend out into your ears and down into your neck. We're just going to go in with the concealer that we used in the daily makeup video. Pop it on these areas here. So then we're going to go in with the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in the shade 001 Transparent. It's like this. Rimmel Radiance Brick. I do love this. It's a mixture of all different colours. and we're going to use just a big fluffy brush, most of your pressure into your cheekbone, and then blending the rest out. We're going to go into the ears and around the forehead and under the chin. On a night out, we do go in with a little bit more of the contour effect on the nose. So staying with the same bronzer, I'm just going to use kind of like a bigger flat brush. It is the Real Techniques 200 brush. Just slightly dab into the lighter part of the bronzer, or from the brow down onto the nose, just like so, onto this outside bit, down to the front. Which is the Helen E Candylicious blush, which is like this. A smaller brush to the bronzer brush, smile and pop it in the apples of your cheeks. For a night out, I want to be looking more popping, so instead of my usual MAC Soft and Gentle, which I use on a daily basis, I use the Jeffree Star Skin Frost Peach Goddess highlighter, because it's just super beautiful. I clearly use it quite a lot, and so pigmented, and we're just going to use the fan brush just to pop it onto the cheekbones. Just the brows, which is the exact same as last time. I just used the NYX Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade in the shade Espresso. We're going to go back in with the under eyes, and we're going to primarily use all of the flatter brushes that we used before, because they're great to get under the eye in more precise positions. The second shade that we used, which was this one, just going to look up and kind of blend all the way across using that shade. This one, Good as Gone, closer to the bottom lashes. Go in with the tiny brush that we used for the black, but instead we're going to use the Punk shade, go even more precisely in. We're going to use this brush, which is super thin. I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of the black from the James Charles palette underneath the bottom eyelashes. Go ahead and apply the eyelashes. I use the Duo eyelash glue. I think it's so good. So I always use a nude lip, hardly ever, unless I've got a less subtle eye, will use a different colour on my lips. My go-to lip liner is this Helen E one, which is just a nude lip liner. So around the lip, like so. The Kiko Milano lipstick, it's nude. I don't even know if Kiko's happening anymore, but I absolutely love this, and it's just so soft and creamy. So guys, this is the finished look for my normal classic going out makeup, and like I say, you don't have to go as dark as I did and as dramatic as I did. You can kind of stop at any of the colours that I use, but it's more just the technique of doing this kind of like subtle cut crease. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if there's anything else that you would like to see, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Oh my god, just completely forgot as I was taking my eyelashes off and cleaning up my room that I forgot to say set your face with a setting spray if it's going to be a long night. I've got the Urban Decay All Nighter, which is pretty good. So yes,